Okay, so my business is called Social Studio Coaching, and it's relationship and dating coaching. So I work with people, mostly with people who are single and frustrated with their dating experience and who want to find a relationship. So people who, for one reason or another, aren't having the experience with dating or with interacting with people that they want to have. I've always had a really pretty even split. Yeah, I really like working with both men and women, and that's who's ended up finding me. Well, I've always been fascinated by relationships. I've always been just so curious about the dynamics between people and how they connect, and I've always ended up in lots of relationships since I was pretty young. Like, I remember my first relationship was in elementary school. I don't know if you could even call it a relationship, you know. We like held hands once and would like get nervous around each other and hardly speak to each other. But since then on, I've always been really curious about them, and I discovered coaching and went through my coaching certification program, and it was just a natural niche for me to choose relationships and dating. There's some similarities and some differences, so I'll break it down. For women, a lot of the frustrations are, where are all of the men? Where are the attractive men? Or where are the men that I like? I don't know where to find them. It's also, how do you get past a second date? How do you get past a first date into a second, third, fourth date? And I think, so for women, those are two of the big ones. Also, confidence and self-esteem come up a lot. For men, it's often similar, actually, with where do I find women that I really like. But I work with a lot of really, really bright men and women, but I work with a lot of really, really smart men who are in the tech industry. So that seems to be a more specific niche for me that has just kind of found me, and I really like working with them. So a lot of software engineers and programmers, people who spend their whole day in their head, and so they have trouble switching from work mode into, you know, play mode, and being more embodied and more interactive with other people. So I work a lot with men around communication skills, body language, how to inhabit your body and use body language in order to attract women. Same goes for women, but I tend to see that pattern a little bit less for them. And then one more thing is an overarching theme and frustration of not really knowing what people are looking for. So not being sure exactly what they want to find in a partner, and also how they vision the relationship that they want to create isn't completely clear. So I help people a lot with looking at, what do you want to create? What kind of relationship do you want to have, and who do you feel like you could create that with? So what are the qualities that people have that would be a good fit for you? Okay, so again, breaking it up into men and women. For women, I think that the biggest mistake that women do is that they're not as available to men, or they don't express their interest, because we've been told and trained and conditioned to be really coy and to play games. And so even when women like men, they're not always expressing that they like them. Okay. So I find that, and a lot of it's out of shyness or not knowing what to do exactly, and it's vulnerable. I mean, dating and relationships are really an inherently vulnerable experience to be in. You have to put yourself out there. You have to expose yourself and be open to getting rejected. It's a risk. So I think just not sharing that they are interested is one of the things. For men, I think in San Francisco, there are a lot of passive men. Not to be overly direct, but men are too passive here. They don't just go after women. They don't show that they like them. You know, it's a culture where where men are brought up to be really respectful of women, which is wonderful, but I think a lot of men have a hard time distinguishing between walking that line between respect and also pursuing women. It's like, go buy them a drink, ask them out, follow up with a phone call right away. You don't have to wait for 3 days. Be open for connection. That's like the number one piece of advice that I would give, is be open for connection. We walk around with our earphones in, and we're on our iPhones, and we're scared of making eye contact, and our body language is telling people that we're not available, that we don't want to talk to them. I mean, and everyone's guilty of it. I mean, I'm totally guilty of it. Just on the way here, I had my headphones on, and I was like working on my iPhone, and but just the awareness around, if you're going to do it, know that you're shutting yourself off. Know that you're not available for connection, and have it be a deliberate choice that you make. And then when you want to meet people, when you want to be open, really open, put the phone away. From more of an energetic kind of woo-woo, at the risk of sounding woo-woo, I mean, open yourself energetically so that you're available to the people around you, so that you're sending off the message, hi, I'm a human being and I'm here and I'm curious about you. This is such a huge question, and it's one that takes a lot of work. I mean, there's no quick fix. There's no, okay, just be yourself, be confident, it takes a lot of work, but it's absolutely doable. And I think one of the places where I start with clients is in looking at, when do they feel most alive? When do they feel most themselves? When do they feel really in themselves in a good way, like they're in their element, and identifying what are those emotions that they have when they feel that way. What are the circumstances that create that experience of them feeling really confident or really in their element? What are the activities? Do they feel really amazing when they're with just a few people in a quiet space? Or do they feel really good in a really loud and lively bar with music and lots of different people? And is it around food? Is it when they're running? What are the conditions in which they feel really solid in who they are? Because that's when we all shine. That's when you really feel the most grounded in yourself, and from that place, that's when you can be the most confident.